It's currently Monday, July 1st, 2024. It's 1:53 p.m. And the reason why I'm capturing this video is because I captured a video and it's perfectly credible and valid probative evidence. It's just that I thought that I was capturing a screen recording, and I wasn't. A screen recording is where I'm letting you review previously captured evidence for purposes of recognizing the pattern of conduct, recognizing the scientific impossibility regarding this behavior, this chicanery, and this unnatural environment. So I was not capturing a screen recording. I was in fact capturing just a regular video, which is fine. So what you're going to see on the bottom is the video that I captured at the same time. So you can see at the top, this video that I captured today, July 1st, it starts at 1:27 p.m. The video that I captured on June 29th, 2024 starts at 1:17 p.m. Which again, at the beginning of this video, I started it because LAPD is chasing me down in a helicopter like they are every day, and at 1:17 p.m. they are crossing path while you can see the light source, not the sun, through the rear windshield of this third party that is crossing path. I just use this third party not only because LAPD is flying over. Where you see the state, you document as many of the people of the state as you can. You name as many businesses as you can, because you're going to prosecute civilly and criminally. They're all group stalking together, and this is when you recognize and when you are aware and informed about the system, everyone is prosecuted under that. This is why, by the way, a corrupt government never wants this system to be exposed, because upon exposure, a lot of people are going to suffer consequences, and that's not unjust. It's absolute justice. But this is why you have such a high level of obstruction of justice, and even that is relevant to what is also that civil prosecution, to drain the life out of those pockets and to criminally prosecute to the furthest extent of the law. Okay, because the government wants to in every way oppress you while already keeping you under surveillance. And we are in the United States. You have constitutional rights. Okay, you have fundamental rights as a human being, but you have constitutional rights. All right, so they are currently outside of existing laws, and the government knows it. They know it. So they are engaged in an ongoing pattern with the intent to obstruct justice. And so while I am capturing this video, while I'm going to replay the video at the top, what I captured today for your viewing purposes and observation, witnessing, in other words, as I am exposing Satan, I'm exposing Satan's minions, and I'm exposing the corrupt government. That is the state of California. Not only their condition is revealed, because this is the practice of the demonic, and it's criminal conduct that's occurring while this demonic behavior is underway. Okay, and it results in what is highly malicious and criminal conduct that is occurring amongst a system through the very constituents of the state. And I have legally referred to them as what they are, the people of the state. All right, and so this is the criminal prosecution of the people of the state by an American citizen that is enforcing their rights against the government, who in concert with the people of the state are keeping you under surveillance. And it is in violation of existing federal laws, Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go, while I'm narrating on the video, I'm just giving you context with regard to what I'm going to review. So when I'm saying you're looking at this, because I was thinking I was capturing a screen recording, and I actually wasn't. I just started capturing video. So I want to go ahead and provide you that visual so that you can see what it is that I'm referring. You could easily just look at the video that I'm referencing, but I never want to I don't assume that people will go on, do their own. I mean, I don't mean anything, no shade by it, but I will do the due diligence and connect the dots for you. I will show you what it is that you are looking at, and it is absolutely impossible. So there is no room for confusion. Okay, so this is why I'm proceeding with going ahead and doing a screen recording, even though this is a perfectly fine video that I captured at 1:27. So anyway, with regard to the timestamp, again, this video started on June 29th. It was started at 1:17, and I started it because LAPD flies in relevant position, flies over my car. Here they are right here. LAPD that you see flying over my apartment, flying over my office, flying all around the property, while what is tying it all together is not only the conduct of the people of the state, but the environment that I'm in while this stalking in helicopters is occurring. You can see the light source through the vehicles that are representing third parties, and they all represent communication devices, while surveillance on the venue of the internet is underway. And there is no sun that would be seen through any rear windshield of third parties while I am driving at Normandy at 1:17 in the afternoon, and the entity is crossing path, and that's what I'm capturing as I walk outside. This is the light source that's remaining over me, and I start the video
that's crossing
at
path.
I start the video at 1:27 p.m. But it is in reference to this video, which again, From 1:17 p.m. to 1:27 p.m., the entity is keeping the fake sun over me as I'm en route to Chase Bank at 1600 Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles. Meaning I have left Alvarado Gardens and I went to an entirely distinct location. And while I remain at Alvarado Gardens, the fake sun, not only is it remaining, but it's not over the same place. If that was the sun, then my person would be turned around in opposite direction to get that sun that is somehow remaining over my apartment door, literally the front portion of my apartment that faces the hillside. But that's not what I'm capturing. You will see the absence of any sun over my apartment building 1806. Contrary to that, but within the pattern of conduct of a light source remaining over me for the duration of the day, this fake sun is over the top of my head while I have not left the property of Alvarado Gardens. That is the environment where the entity is stalking in helicopters. All right. So this is the criminal system that I'm subject to when the facilitating venue Chase Bank, where I am a patron, and the P.O.C. is underway. So that's through the rear windshields of third parties while the entity is stalking in helicopter cannot be seen while the sun is at the same time remaining over me. And it also yes, it applies because I'm not going anywhere from 1:17 to 1:27. I remain at the same exact location while I am traveling in this video from 1:17 to 1:27 to Chase Bank. I'm in motion, in movement, and I'm showing you what is under all circumstances impossible to be the sun. Okay, so that's how you're understanding the duration of time analysis here. The duration of time analysis, it's not necessarily duration of time analysis, but the application. While I am using these two to juxtapose with one another, same time analysis with regard to where it's located at the same time. In addition, remember, in San Bernardino County, an entirely different region. Okay, there's that whole body of evidence which no one can ever address. You cannot reconcile the sun being over Chase Bank and being over my head at Alvarado Gardens. And even if you did try that impossible feat, it is impossible with regard to what is scientific accuracy, okay, to what's a genuine approach. You cannot reconcile that. That's not what the sun is. That's not what the sun does. In addition, it's a hovering light source that's right over the top everywhere. This isn't even the sun, even in its appearance, let alone its character. But you have what is the light source that's in an entirely different region. There's no way, and the government is surrounded by this evidence, speaking to the condition where federal group stalking and monitoring and the environment where federal group stalking and monitoring is occurring. Okay, so that's the significance. I'm going to stop talking so much. I just want to make sure it's understood what I'm doing and why I started at this time. So I started this video at 1:27. LAPD is flying over in relevant position while the fake sun is remaining over me. So they are indeed stalking, and they are demon possessed, which you know, because this environment is pursuing me, and it is not the natural environment. And this is the same environment. It's not distinct. License 9JP and 111 is the same condition, the same criminal presence, maliciously acting pursuant to what is a statewide system. Okay, and so this is facilitation. Through everyday so-called American society, criminal surveillance is underway, and the constituents of the state of California are fully engaged in it. And that's the purpose and the substance of the P.O.C. The pattern of conduct, the evidence showing the P.O.C. So this is what I'm capturing. Hold on. Which is not the sun is over my vehicle, which I repeat. Hold on a second. Oopsie. I'm sorry. Hold on. It is 1:26 p.m., 1:27 p.m. And on June 29th, I'm at the Chase Bank, and the light source is seen through the windshield of that vehicle that's group stalking. And I believe this is Hollywood that I'm driving on at the same time. Remember, this video starts at 1:17 p.m. I've been capturing images of the light source that remains in this position, seen through the windshields on this property, the rear facing windshields. Also, there's no sun over my apartment building, which I would not be able to see from this location. Door is facing this way. I aim my camera straight ahead, and building 1806 is that direction. So from my front door, I cannot see the sun that would be facing building 1810. In addition, there's no sun that... I will show you what I documented regarding the next day, June 30th. Remember, this is June 29th. The next day, I stay at home and I document all of this light activity, the stalking in helicopter. And then today I'm at work documenting the same thing. It's an ongoing juxtaposition. All right, so that's what I'm referencing, the fact that it's impossible to see this light source in this position if that's the sun that's over in the same position over the top of my head at my apartment building, building 1806, apartment number 6, that is facing the direction east. I'm not facing the direction east while I'm standing outside of my leasing office. So that's what I'm talking about. possibly be seen through the windshield of this third party that is group stalking with LAPD in helicopter. There's a light source right there. All right, and this is the third party that's crossing path while that which is not the sun is over my vehicle, which I repeatedly showed through my sunroof. And this is at the same time. So I started this video at 1:26. This is license 9JPN111. They are going to federal prison. Okay, they're engaging in terrorism on the roads and the highways, while the entity is also engaging in the use of interstate commerce, stalking in a helicopter. You're going to prosecute all the ways in which you can prosecute for terrorism, while the entity uses planes, helicopters, is on the venue of the internet using communication devices where federal stalking is underway. So as I come to the Chase Bank at 1600 Vermont Avenue. Okay, this is not that. This is directly over building 1800 North Alvarado Street. This is the leasing office. Okay, so 1 second. I want you to see LAPD that flies over, waits for the light for me to turn green, then crosses path in helicopter to monitor me as they know I'm getting ready to turn. So that's LAPD in helicopter right here. All of this, the people of the state are all monitoring via traffic. This is all demonic pacing, crossing path repeatedly, not only in traffic, but also every building, everybody inside of every building. This is massive surveillance and it's demonic activity. So this is what I'm referencing. I'm going fast forward because this is where Chase Bank is. That's what I'm talking about here. Specific environment and acting of Chase Bank are also being violated simultaneously, which are independent bases for prosecution of an exposure of Chase Bank. And while you have a state system underway, J.P. Morgan cannot reasonably contend ignorance with regard to what Chase Bank is, which is a group stalker. You cannot reasonably contend that you are ignorant while the employees and the people of the state, both being patrons there and working there, are in the specific environment and acting pursuant to the same pattern of conduct. This is terrorism that I'm subject to at Chase Bank at 1600, where I would show you the light source through the windshields of the vehicles at that property, which is not going to occur if this was the sun at the same time. It is the pattern of conduct that's underway. Never mind that audible activity. Jose and Sons Landscaping, they're going to federal prison. Then they're going to be deported. They're monitoring right now while they're witnessing their prosecution. There's the light source through the windshield of third-party group stalker 9JT and 327. And you know their condition and you know their criminal system because the phenomenon remains wherever that I'm at and follows wherever I go, which is speaking to the demonic environment. This is demonic activity that I'm documenting. And that use of a leaf blower is audible activity under the fake sun, which you're directly juxtaposing to that which is occurring at the same time, which is an impossibility with regard to the natural environment where you are not innocently using landscaping tools in my presence. You are doing so in concert with the entity that is stalking in helicopters at this venue at the same time. Okay, so let's look at that documentation. What I was viewing inside of my apartment, this is the entity that's maintaining a light source over my head inside of my car and stalking in helicopter, incriminating all the people of the state, including Chase Bank, while I am subject to this terrorism. And this is the terrorism that I'm subject to, as you know, inside of my apartment and at work, okay? Following me everywhere that I go, which is the documentation that I've been capturing for years. The light source through the rear view mirror, the documentation of a third-party group stalker, all right? And this is terrorism, statewide terrorism. And it is revealing also what Satan is doing. This is demonic activity. This is the presence of massive surveillance. It's terrorism and it's also an exceedingly violent sex offense while a population keeps me under surveillance, all knowing together when my panties are down, holding the hands of minor children, engaging in that criminal system. So I want to be clear, the light source is not only remaining over me while the entity is stalking in helicopter, which you can see through the vehicle windows. The entity flies over the top of my head. All right, as I am going through the park, everybody's crossing paths, just one after another, just like they do here at all hours of the day and night, living in relevant position. Right, and LAPD flies directly over my head. Flies directly over my head while they fly off, remaining in relevant position under the light source that is not over Alvarado Gardens in this zenith position at all. It's a grand departure, and the fake sun nonetheless remains directly over me, which you can see. As I park in the parking lot, as I walk to the entrance of Chase Bank, so does that fake sun remain directly over the top of my head. Okay, and so this is not the same. And also, I want you to witness the light source that remains over me as I walk. This is 129, the video ending at 127. It's currently 132, so at this time on June 29th, I'm already inside, and you see the fake sun's not going anywhere because I'm not going anywhere. This is documentation of what is present. It's a specific environment. Chase is not engaging. All right, so 1:27 p.m. What I'm referencing is the fake sun is over me while the entity's stalking in helicopter at Chase Bank. This video ends at 1:27, so I park in the parking lot. I'm documenting by license plate all the methods of light activity. There's nothing normal about this environment. You're understanding that they're engaging in a massive system of maintaining the elements and doing so using vehicles, okay? And they all represent communication devices that are surrounding, and their massive surveillance is underway as I am documenting the pattern of conduct. All of the entity is aware of the fact of what I'm doing on my phone, what I'm looking at, what I'm doing online, for example, and that also applies to the bank where I am a patron. And my banking information is public information. Okay, and Chase Bank cannot contend otherwise. The same stalking conduct in helicopter. All right, what's occurring on a communication device? Communication devices fill Chase Bank. That's what they're working on, and the government is engaging in what is a secret system of surveillance and group stalking, and the employees of Chase Bank are fully engaging in that. You have the specific environment, you have the terrorism by the state directly, and the entity that is also engaged in federal stalking. All that P.O.C. is underway at Chase, where it is not possible that the sun would be at 1:27. That's the end of the video. All right, so we're at 9:12. This is the end where the video ended at 1:27 p.m. and I started this video at 1:27. I remain standing at the same location at Alvarado Gardens. I'm not moving. This is capturing what is indeed the same exact phenomenon. The fact that that which is not the sun, it's a light source remaining over me everywhere that I go, including as I remain at one location, which is what Alvarado Gardens represents, and that everywhere that I go, which is what Chase Bank and the entire route to Chase Bank represents, including on the roads and the highways, where federal stalking is also underway. So the next video I capture is showing, again, starting at 1:27 p.m. and the fake sun remains over me. It's not over the Chase Bank. It's over my vehicle, over my head. As I walk to Chase Bank, it's over the door that I walk into. The entity is maintaining the fake sun over me just like it does while I'm inside of my apartment. Just like it is as I document day in and day out for example, on this day in 2022. It's the ongoing pattern, and it's speaking to a statewide system. All right, so this is it's relevant positioning, and you know that because the natural environment's above your head. So I'm going to document. So this is what I'm documenting, and as I walk in, you can see it through the windshield. Okay, this is not the natural environment. That which is over my head at Alvarado Gardens at 1:27 p.m. is not going to be seen through the windshield of my vehicle that's parked at 1600 Vermont Avenue. That's what I'm pointing out. The fake sun moves to remain over me while I am subject to this terrorism, this group stalking, this harassment by the government. The people of the state are in the shoes of the government. The people of the state are supposed to maintain this passive aggressive position, including those whose name you know and don't know. It's supposed to be an experience that you are an experience that you are suffering in silence, because no one's going to believe you, and they will defame you if you try to articulate what it is that you're subject to and what it is that you're surrounded by. And the entity also engages in terrorism via directed light that you see inside of establishments. It's not different from an entity stalking, crossing paths with engineer light that is dynamic. It's the same pattern. It's a method that's occurring inside of a building, as opposed to it moving all over. But I've captured this engineer light, reference Starbucks, the P.O.C. Engineer light moving all across the walls and the ceilings inside of Starbucks. It's not sunlight. And at no point, by the way, while the fake sun's remaining over Alvarado Gardens exclusively, is there any sun that's going to be over any Starbucks that I have documented. Starbucks is fully engaged in state surveillance. Okay, so this is capturing the P.O.C. while you look at the fake sun over me at Alvarado Gardens facing building 1810 at the same time, and I'm at Chase Bank, and this light source is seen through the windshield while it's right over my head. And this is where it remains as I walk to the entrance of Chase Bank. All right, and I'll just go ahead and let my lawful operation of business such that you are under any circumstances immune to civil and criminal prosecution. The lights are what is your of Chase Bank at 1600 Vermont Avenue, where I'm showing you where I remain at 1810 North Alvarado Street, facing a very specific direction at the same time. All right, and this is the pattern of conduct. In addition to the fact that there is no sun, that's also in Ontario, California, over the Open Family Community Library, like I documented on this day in 2022, which you will also. I just want to point out, this lady that I don't know is group stalking. She's creating light activity. She's engaged in relevant positioning, and she's also a demon. You know that, and she's pacing while another crosses path. Remember, it's all of traffic, all of the entity is monitoring, but I'm just giving you a small picture of what they're doing. The people of the state on an ongoing basis, walking toward the entrance door is monitoring conduct. The ongoing maintenance of the engineered environment, getting in front of me, opening the door for me, you're monitoring me. And you know that because the light source, because of stalking by the state in helicopters, and also because of the engineered light that's literally inside of the Chase Bank. This is how the people of the state, as they exhibit their demon possession, are providing evidence against themselves. And you do not have any reasonable basis where you can ever deny the fact that the whole population is group stalking. You're not exempt. You have a pattern amongst the population in a specific environment. So you are talking about what is under all circumstances reasonably contended as a statewide system, and it is demonic. Okay, so this is what I'm capturing at 1600 over my head. While I am
attention to is the entity
remaining
that
at
is number one crossing path in airplane, but secondly, the entity is engaged in what is on video, on television, online. You can look at the police chase window.
All right, and that is the P.O.C. While I walk in, so just really quickly, this is what I want you to see. This is the light source that's maintaining the same position as I am at the apartment complex where I'm working. And so this is how you also understanding the prosecution of speaker companies that's fully engaged in a state system, and then masquerading as though you are an employer that has any authority whatsoever. You're a terrorist, and the government is acting via you, and you are a malicious actor, and all the things that are a part of that criminal system that's in operation in the workplace, where you are making threats on behalf and in concert with the state with regarding employment, while you're subject to federal group stalking and monitoring. And this is what I'm stating. This is why you go to federal prison for that. And so these are consequences that this is justice. You're prosecuting terrorism in the U.S. Unfortunately, it appears as though American citizens are terrorists, because that's exactly what I'm capturing. And you will be punished as a terrorist as any other foreign intruder and terrorist would be prosecuted. It's not going to be different because you were born here, or because you were granted the privilege to be here. In fact, to the contrary, I would like to contend, I would argue, that it is even more despicable that you're in this country being that domestic enemy. Okay, so you serve for what needs to be an even greater example for what we will never entertain, we will never tolerate from anybody outside of this country or inside of this country. Okay, so this is what the entity is doing as a people, and you're understanding while it's inside of any business. So that light source that's outside of the Chase Bank in this same position where I'm remaining at an entirely distinct location, that's the P.O.C. All right, and then you're looking at the engineered light that's inside of that establishment that has nothing to do with the light source. It's called engineered light. The same engineered light that you see on my ceilings inside of my bedroom. All right, so, oops. Sorry.
All right, so here is engineered light. As you can see that. This is engineered light that's on the ceiling. This is absolutely impossible, and I'm just getting money out the ATM.
And I'm giving this third party his legal argument. I'm just getting money off the ATM. I don't know anything about, legally irrelevant. This is how the group system, federal group stalking and monitoring operate. It relies on this. The use of faces that you don't know, names you don't know. And it's also legally irrelevant. It's unnecessary. You don't need to know their name while the fake sun and engineer light and the state is stalking in concert with them in helicopters. All right, to communicate a threat to you while you document them. All right, that's supposed to shut you up. That's supposed to oppress you. That's supposed to further torment you also, while they get a chuckle and go on about their life. And so federal prosecution is going to directly address that. You will no longer engage in that in this country. And that's what American citizens are doing.
Like it's on the ceiling. This is absolutely impossible, and I'm just getting money out the ATM. This is for the criminal convenience of the people of the state, and this is where the entity was flying in service in helicopter. Okay, this is P.O.C. Everybody that's on the clock right now in federal prison.
All right, so this is engineered light while the light source is over the Chase Bank. All right, so I just want to be clear. First of all, let me point something out to you. This demon knows that he's being documented, and you can tell by the light activity that exists on the window. There is light that just appears above his head while I start capturing. It's a blob of light. These demons are hostile and engage in this act of terrorism via directed light. Now, this is what's so unintelligent about the demon possessed, because they don't help. You're not helping while you engage in the pattern of conduct. Everybody's already literally surrounded by evidence while the entity flew over your business establishment, and you want me to look at you as though you are anything other than a demon possessed third party, which is unreasonable to contend, where you have the consistency with regard to the state stalking conduct in the specific environment, showing what every population is capable and is directly engaging in on behalf of that state. You're just sitting at a communication device in the facilitating venue while engineer lights just appearing blobs of it on the window behind your head as I begin capturing pictures of you, which this demon is fully aware of. Okay, this is let me be clear, everybody that's in the office at Chase Bank is subject to federal prison. And this is how you're going to prosecute terrorism. You're also going to drain the pockets. Everybody standing in line is group stalking. These are the same demons that are engaging in what is coming onto the property at Alvarado Gardens under the name of some janitorial company, and you're group stalking with the state in helicopter, while the fake sun remains over the apartment complex all day long. The entire population is doing that, and that's what I captured for the body of evidence speaking to 2018 to 2022. The population, no matter where I go, all day long. The same identical pattern of conduct. This is what the population is doing. While I'm in the parking lot, they're standing in line, group stalking with the LAPD, who's flying in circles, communicating a threat by a hostile and passive-aggressive population who are hostile to your exposure of what they are, and they are engaging in group stalking you. And then psychopaths are mad because you're exposing it. All right, but they have to maintain a passive role. So this is why you have people that look to the left and right and act like they're oblivious to the helicopter activity, including while it flies over your apartment, necessarily interrupting your sleep because it's shaking the whole apartment. It's shaking the apartment building. Okay, so the entity is maintaining engineered light. I want you to pay attention to this. It's 1:40 p.m. So this is how you are also recognizing impossible light activity. There's no sunlight because there's no sun that would be over the Chase Bank's roof. All right, to create any light activity, let's remind ourselves about where the fake sun is, and it's over Alvarado Gardens. That's the identification of a third party. And this is the P.O.C. There's no roof or sun that's going to be over the 1600 North Vermont Avenue, where the light source is remaining over Alvarado Gardens pursuant to a pattern of conduct. That's engineered light that's on that carpet, while the third party is in operation of a communication device engaging in the P.O.C. with the state that just flew over their business establishment. As I arrived there, you're talking about being surrounded with irreducible evidence that you are indeed engaging in terrorism, and you do not have any constitutional protections. So this is the video that I captured, and that's also the impossible light activity as I then walk into that building, the Chase,
Everybody that's on the
where I'm subject to this. This is the entity that's threatening my life. Everywhere that I go, this is what I'm subject to. And then you have to compose yourself and deal with the internal trauma, the mindset, when you're dealing with the person who is helping you at the teller, going into your bank account information, and you're supposed to suffer in silence, okay? Everyone acts as though they're oblivious to what's going on. They're directly engaged in what's going on. And you're going to prosecute civilly and criminally for that, which Chase is directly engaging in. Okay, because that's the reality. While you're looking at this impossible light activity, oh yeah, you're a group stalker. This is the specific environment, all right, and you're group stalking with the state. That is group stalking at your establishment, and that's how you will be held accountable under law. Period. So this is what I was capturing in a screen image, in a screen recording. It is 2:21 p.m. And remember, on this day, this is the last thing I'll capture. If you'll recall my video documentation, so let me just go ahead and show you this really quick because my battery is dying, as you can tell. June 29th, as I returned, I went to the car wash. I went to the grocery store, Vaughn's. There's no sun that's going to be at any point.
37 p.m.
There's no sun that's going to be over the grocery store. It's going to remain right here over my head, as you already know. Okay, you already know what the P.O.C. is, so I'm exposing more of the people of the state as I go to a different location, and then you are stuck to the evidence that's already on the record, showing you both your condition and your criminal conduct. This is the entity that's stalking in helicopter. Okay, and doing so in concert with, this is a demon pacing around in the parking lot, all right, and they're doing so while the fake sun is remaining over me at the leasing office. This is the same location of the fake sun, 8 o'clock in the morning. Remember, it's right here while I'm walking to my office. This 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is where it's at, and then I go to my apartment and it remains in alignment to me. That's how you're stalking with the fake sun. But if you recall, while it's right over here, over the top of my head, which is where it remains in alignment to me while I'm in my office, I'm showing you at 3:37. At 3:37, the fake sun's going to be right here. And what contrary to that, when I'm off of the property grounds and I am looking at the property of Alvarado Gardens, there's no sun that's over that sky space. There's no sun that is over the property. And if this was the natural environment, if this was the sun, then you're talking about what would be the next day a substantially similar conduct, if not identical, because the sun doesn't have a personality changing its mind, or it's going to rise and set, and that the fact that it's just going to remain at one position all day long, which is also evidenced through the objects that surround me, and you can see the reflection of that object, that light source. It's nowhere in San Bernardino County. What I'm showing you is a light source that's over me, and it's a light source over you, and the light source is directly over my head. And at 3:37, this is where it remains, and you will see at 3:37 when I left Alvarado Gardens, there's no sun that's over the property. While I'm facing the property, approaching the property, it's outside of my driver's side window while I'm driving toward the property. Okay, this is again capturing the specific environment. As I'm driving on Alvarado Street, this is the light source that remains in alignment to me. And again, what's relevant about what else I'm capturing at Alvarado is the fact that this is where the entity is indeed stalking in helicopters. And so the light source, as I drive onto the property, as you see on this day, driving onto the property, and I'm not Alvarado, I'm arriving to Alvarado Gardens, and yet you see the light source that's over me while I'm already at Alvarado Gardens. So I am facing the entrance that I'm driving onto, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay right here over me. But yet while I am at a different location arriving to the property, so does the light source as I arrive here. That's not the natural environment, and I'm inside of the same parking lot at 337, and yet today the fake sun is remaining here and not moving. It's not moving, it's staying right here. Okay, and you know that through the windshields, through the vehicles, as I am capturing the presence of the unmistakable presence of that light source. Okay, it's not over any Chase Bank or car wash like I documented on June 29th. It's not over my apartment building like I documented on June 30th. You can see it right over my head. There's no sun over building 1806, which is my apartment over there. This is how you know what Amazon Prime is doing, and you also know there's no mistaking with regard to its presence. All right, Amazon Prime is present engaging in what is surveillance, and I'm going to prosecute civilly and criminally. That's also documentation of impunity. And you saw LAPD crossing paths, so that's federal prison. Okay, the entity, and let's get this license plate because it's third party. This is the impunity of the people of the state that engage in ongoing facilitation license 63877L3, and this is the P.O.C. and Amazon Prime is present at this property at 5 p.m. That third party who's crossing path, and this fake sun is still over this apartment building, and I go to this end, and this light source is hovering over the apartment, keeping in alignment just like you see now at 5 p.m. And Amazon Prime is a documented group stalker, while the light source that you see through the windshield of Carol Lee's vehicle, and I'm at building 1816, and that fake sun is still here. And that's how you also know the malice with which Amazon Prime is engaged in state terrorism. A demon holding a package and group stalking you, okay? And they are also engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. It is currently 2:25 p.m. This is P.O.C. The driver of the Amazon Prime vehicle is going to federal prison. Coming in delivering packages to group stalkers is the P.O.C.